100% fighting September and October. October on, MTGP. We've got BXGP, it's like a boxing version of that, so I'm getting matched up for that. And also we've got the Fully Game Fight League coming out September time. I'm fucking main eventing that. Come on!
Look. No, I don't believe him. But know that I've been...
First of all, my boy Ash is one of the big ones that stood out. He's funded up for the carpets, which were quite expensive, so shout out to Ash. We're going to repay him when he opens his shop. Do some promo and shit for him as a boyo for that. We've got Ben Rudge fitting the carpet today.
Come on, Rudgy!
He's not actually a carpet fitter, but he's pulled through. Obviously I'm going to have to do the lifting because he can't lift the carpet up, but we move. Garney doing the electrics today. He's going to fit the spotlights, put us some new sockets in. Shout out to Matt Godber, that's his name, big lad at Ambience. We've got Big Johnny from JP Decorators who's done all his painting for us. He's the fucking man. We're going to have to go do some footage for him and promote his business massively.
And for the ones who said they were going to sponsor, and then tried to charge the premium, shame on you.
Shame on you. My cousin Regan, who did all the boarding up for us, even though you actually boarded over a door that had an extension plugged into the side and I had to stick the wire
We'll work on it.
We'll move. And this is not a shout out, this is a diss to fucking Andrew, who we gave a day's work labour and he tried charging us 300 quid. Fuck you, Andrew! I thought it was just going to be like relaxing, floating, feel like you're in space, enjoying it, but no, it sounds like we're going to be going pretty deep. Some guys just come out the door and said that it keeps falling off a cliff, so I don't know what that means, but I'm looking forward to it. I'll be testing me then, like usual.
Mould it round into your ear. That's the best way I've found to do it. Don't worry, it won't come back out.
You what?
Don't worry, it won't.
See the fabric of the universe. You see intertwined galaxies that look like a ball of yarn all spinning together.
You're floating, literally, what feels like mid-air. The salt is so thick that it felt like I were in space and the temperature was the same as like my body, and the atmosphere, the air was the same temperature as the water. And I started with some Wim Hof breathing exercises. As my vision started going dark, my eyes started to flicker as I was doing the Wim Hof breathing exercise. I could see this dark and I could see a light silhouette. I was laid like this, basically like a starfish. I could see a silhouette of myself. It looked like a reflection in the dark, whatever it was that I could see. The body shape looked, I don't know how, but it looked like my body shape in my reflection. The vision that I could have was basically a pure reflection of my own face. And then it wasn't an out-of-body experience, but I sort of became that thing there. And I just started flying through what seemed like space. It was just like fast stars coming at me and everything was dark. My eyelids were flickering, my hands had gone really tingly. And then it only seemed like it was going for probably 5-10 minutes, and then the music started coming on, which means I've been in there for an hour and 15, so I don't know how long I was in that trance. I didn't really think much, I was just like indulged in this crazy journey that I was going on. And then as I came around, the music come on, and I just moved my body around, and it just felt like fluid, like I had no bones. And it took me like 5 minutes, then as I opened up and I started to climb out, and I was like, whoa. And this blue light, it's just a vibe, man. And then straight into this ice tub, so absolutely crazy. I'm looking forward to seeing what Josh's experience was like. I hope he's documented it.
Meanwhile,
Definitely want to go upstairs. I want to talk about it a little bit with the guy who owns the place, and I want to find out what his experiences are when he's been doing it, what sort of journeys he goes on and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to stay in this for about 10 minutes now.
You can take as little as 2 or 3 breaths a minute in there, not trying, just from the natural relaxed state of the body.
Really?
So if you're doing the Wim Hof and you're taking in all that oxygen staying in your body for much longer because there's nothing to take it back out, so it's running through your bloodstream, so it's quite possible that you're your body doing that.
That's insane.
Because there's no perception of light or time or sound or anything in there, there's no perception of time. So like time's a man-made construct. It's not actually real. It sounds crazy, but it's not. So when you get in tank, you kind of, it goes one way or other. It's like I've been in here 2 minutes, I've been in here 5 hours. I don't really know.
In a sensory deprivation tank, you become increasingly sensitive to less and less because there's almost nothing going on. So the threshold for perception, you get more and more and more sensitive as you're trying to pick up signal where there's no signal. And that can open these gates of imagination, for example. You know this already because to some degree, imagine you want to go figure something out. You usually go somewhere where you can be by yourself. You're not flooded by sensory information. Maybe you go for a walk or maybe you go sit on your bed. You kind of shield yourself from outside input. And then by concentrating, you open yourself up to this internal revelation that's otherwise blotted out by the external world. And that really happens to a huge degree in the sensory deprivation tank, or can. And I think that is akin in many ways to, and people have made this case many times, is that it's analogous to a psychedelic experience, and I think that's technically true.
It certainly is, because if that experience was achievable through a psychedelic, I think it'd be a very popular psychedelic. If the experience of having no sensory input and being able to be alone with your thoughts, like completely without the influence of even gravity on your body and a seat or the floor on your feet, you don't feel any of it. So
yeah, you start to get, because you've eliminated all that external stimulation, you allow yourself to become aware of things happening that would otherwise be in the background. Jung believed, for example, as Carl Jung, that we're always dreaming. Always. We just don't perceive it because the outer world blots it out. And there's definitely truth in that.
So daydreaming, fantasy.
Well, it's even deeper than that, because look, there's a thread of meaning that guides this conversation. And neither of us know what it is. We know when it manifests itself because we get interested, right? Think, oh, that's interesting. And then, I say something, you think it's interesting, and you nail it with a bunch of words, and then I pick up some of the words and I think that's interesting and I nail it with a bunch of words. But there's this thread, it's the golden thread that leads you out of Ariadne's maze, by the way, and that's part of the redemptive process, is by following that manifestation of spontaneous interest truthfully, we participate in this process that revitalizes our perceptions. And that's technically true. That's what's happening. And then what's even more cool than that is that there's nothing we can experience that we would rather do than that if it's happening intensely. And that's because that is the best thing we can do. That's the logos. That's the logos.
When you have done...
By definition.
When you have done sensory deprivation experiences, how many have you ever done? Is it
about 6?
6 of them?
Yeah.
Recent?
No, it's been 10 years probably.
Do you think you would benefit from that?
It would depend on how I did it.
I mean, even
conceivably.
Why haven't you tried to incorporate that into your life?
I have other things I do that are probably partial substitutes for it, or reasonable substitute. I do Kundalini yoga in the morning.
Oh, do you?
With my wife. I have for 20 years. Not every day, but I'd say a third of the time, and often for months on end.